Week 14 in the NFL and the playoff race is on. We have a Cowboys fan, not a Jerry Jones fan. Plus, my locks of the week, so stay tuned. I'm Ashley Haas, and I'm all in, baby.
The money keep calling my name. Dollar signs make you sing.
Today's guest is known as John the Dad on social media for his hilarious content, but what you might not know is he's actually a Dallas Cowboys fan. I know, I brought on a Dallas Cowboys fan. Wild. But you are going to love this guest. He is absolutely hilarious, so please give a very warm welcome for the one and only Jonathan Armstead. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
well,
actually,
not here, but via.
Yeah, here I am in frigid cold Dallas, but thanks for having me on.
Oh, is it really cold there right now? Because it's freezing in New York.
Yeah, it's cold for us.
Yeah.
I can't complain to someone up there, but.
It's true, actually. I was looking into the weather forecast for a lot of these games because it's, going to be freezing and frigid for some of these players. But I can't even believe that I have a Dallas Cowboys fan on my show right now. How did we get here?
Yeah, you know what? We're showing that Eagles fans and Cowboys fans, maybe because it's holiday season, we can come together and, I don't know, maybe we'll get along on some issues here today.
Maybe, especially considering, our NFC East is such a kind of like a close little rival there. You're only 2 games out. If you guys win and we lose, it could definitely change the whole trajectory. We might be not loving each other next week, so we'll have to.
Who knew that tie with Green Bay at the beginning of the season would help us so much?
Well, so I kind of want to hear a little bit about your backstory before we get into football. So you have a very interesting story. You are a father and a husband, and you kind of left what a normal 9-to-5 job to do this social media content creating, which is, I think, such a great way to now be more around with your kids in a fun kind of way. I myself do social media, so that's how I found you. But yeah, tell me about this switch in career path and how everything's been going.
Yeah. So I started in different ad agencies in Dallas for 10 years, but I always wanted to write. I wanted to perform. I was a theater and film production minor in college. But a marketing major, so I always felt like I had to do business for whatever reason. And so I went into advertising for 10 years, and then I got this really cool job with Can-Am, Power Sports, and I was managing all of our brand ambassadors, so content creators, influencers, celebrities, things like that. And I started to see, how the sausage was made, so to speak, and I started just being around content creators, and I was like, I think I could do this. Like, I'm just what's the worst that could happen? The worst that can happen is I get 0 views, and I shut it down. So, 2 years ago, I just started making what I thought were funny videos, and about 6 months in it, I had a video that went mega viral, like 30 million views, and it really took off from there. And then, I just started making a little bit money from it, and then I looked and I was like, well, I could make more money doing this than my day job, and that's what's so cool about social media now, right? Because there's so many ways to monetize and stuff. And so, yeah, this past spring, I gave my 2 weeks notice and I left, and I've been doing it ever since, and it's been the best decision I've ever made, and it's brought me on this podcast, and nothing but doors have been open ever since. So
yeah, that's exactly, I stopped everything I was doing when I saw one of your social media clips, and I thought, this guy has energy, he seems hilarious. And then I noticed you're from Texas, and I went, could I get a Dallas Cowboys fan on? I've never wanted one, but you were so funny and so great. So so thank you for being here, because I do personally think that you are hilarious, and everyone make sure you follow him at John the Dad on social media. So I want to do a couple rapid fire questions, right? Just super fast. Give me the first thing that comes to your mind as a Cowboys fan edition style NFL.
Okay.
Rapid fire. All right, ready?
Yeah.
First word that comes to your mind when you hear Dallas Cowboys season.
Disappointing.
Jerry Jones, genius, chaos?
Chaos.
Okay. One player on the Cowboys that you would want to get rid of?
Well, I'd say our general manager, Jerry Jones, but a player, I don't know. That stumps me. I can't think.
Okay, that's okay.
I can't think of one.
I'll ask it. Let me ask it a different way. If you could swap your quarterback for any NFL quarterback in the league, who would you take?
Right now, I think I might take Drake May.
Drake May over Dak?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
young. That sounds right. Yeah.
Just from his age and what he's showing.
Mm-hmm.
Dak is a quintessential Dallas Cowboys quarterback in that he's a great guy. He is a great guy. I say that sarcastically, but he's a great guy, and I've heard nothing but good things about him. But is he going to get you there? And I don't know. I just feel like same with Romo. Like we've just had a lot of quarterbacks that are above average and can win games and get us to 10 wins or whatever it is. But then when we really need them to win and really need them to perform, something goes wrong.
Yeah,
And
that's
just,
fair.
That's just how I feel about Dak.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's actually not the worst quarterback to have on your team. It's just like if you could switch. I mean, I have Jalen Hurts, and I would switch. I would probably take Drake May, too, to be quite honest with you. So, he's young, he's hungry, and he wants it. So I'm with you on that. So,
Yeah, Dak's having one of his best years. So it's weird to even say that. But, yeah, I've been through this dance a lot.
In the draft next season, who are you hoping the Cowboys pick up position-wise first?
Defensive end or linebacker. 100%. I mean, our defense is better, but we started off, I think I heard some of the worst stats of all time. So we need to rebuild that defense.
What's the craziest thing you would do for a Super Bowl win?
Craziest thing I would do for a Super Bowl win. I would visit Philadelphia in the coldest week of the year and do outside activities.
In a Cowboys jersey in front of Eagles Stadium?
Yes.
On game day?
I would do it.
Wow. On game day even?
Maybe that's not the safest decision.
It's not the safest. I was going to say, do you have a death wish? It's not the safest.
Maybe 10 blocks away.
Okay. And finally, which fan base do you not like the most?
Okay, so I know I was introduced as a Cowboys fan, but I did spend almost half my life in Colorado, actually, from age 9 through college. And I was a big Broncos fan. So I would actually say the Raiders fan base is my least favorite.
Is worse than the Eagles? We did it.
Yeah. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, Eagles fans are very, like, I actually want to give fan bases, like Chicago Cubs. I remember first time I went to a game that had the Cubs, I was at a Rockies game, and the Cubs fans, there were more Cubs fans there. And I was like, wow, the rumors are true. These guys are so obnoxious. But Raiders are like very obnoxious in your face. And they also just would always pick fights. Like at the Broncos Raiders games, there would always be massive fights. It was like every other year someone would die.
That's amazing. They're that much worse than us, huh?
I don't know if they're that much worse than you, but yeah, they just.
But they're close. Hey, listen, I'll take a little bit. I'll just take a little bit worse than us. You think? Yes. Oh, yeah, right. I did not expect that. I was fully ready to get my I will
Eagles
say
now that the Eagles have had so much success. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can one up you with that.
Yeah. You want to match? Yeah. I was thinking for sure I was gonna have.
But you know what's
mine's
funny
a bit of a snow.
I actually have two. I have two because I do have.
Oh, you have two?
Yeah, I have two. But I'll wear the Cowboys one for now. But,
yeah. I love it. Honestly, I need one of those because I have quite a large head. So,
I wear the biggest size hat. So this is a normal size hat, actually.
Yeah, you're just like I love that. Actually, I think the Eagles for me have been such a disappointment. I mean, honestly, this is just not what I thought, and I hate to say this, but I actually think the Cowboys have been doing really well. I think that it's just kind of turned around the second part of the season for you.
They have Brian Schottenheimer. All new coaches come in and they talk about culture, and it's like, yeah, okay. But he kind of reminds me of a college football coach. He's kind of got his rituals where he says the touchdowns at the end of I don't know, every clip I see from him, he just seems like such a cool, fun guy. And it seems like the players really like him, and we've just missed that for a long time. Honestly, every coach we've had since Jimmy left, honestly, has kind of been lock and step with Jerry Jones. And who knows about Schottenheimer, but I just feel like he's kind of he has a longer leash to kind of try things out. And he just seems like a good guy, and so it's been nice that all of a sudden we just beat the Chiefs and we beat the Eagles, which I saw that was the first time that that teams ever beat back to back or the Super Bowl contenders in 5 days or something like that. But And then the Eagles. I have Jalen Hurts actually as my fantasy quarterback.
Oh, you do?
Well, I have Jalen and Dak, and I always pick the wrong one.
Oh.
So I'm very familiar with Jalen's stats, and I know that they've won a lot of games, but it doesn't seem like it's been pretty. It hasn't been by a lot on a lot of these games. They obviously lost to the Cowboys, which I know was probably a pretty bad night for you all, especially the way that it was. And the Cowboys almost beat them week 1. I think they lost by just a touchdown or something like that. So it's been, I don't know, we could catch up.
Yeah, it was not a good time to be home in Philly. You know, it was Black Friday. We lost. Yeah. It was a sad game for. Oh, that was actually the Bears, wasn't it? That we played on Black Friday. My brain is mush.
Oh yeah. It was the week
so we played it was the week before, yeah. But still, I mean, that was terrible. We're kind of crumbling the Eagles now. I will jump ahead since we're talking about them to Monday Night Football since we're on a roll because, you know, they are playing the Chargers and they're in LA on Monday night. The Eagles are 8-4 and they're second and the Chargers are 8-4. So, you know, this is going to be a really good matchup. I think it's a telltale for the Eagles if they can pull it through. Now, Justin Herbert does have a wrist injury. He had a surgery, and they are saying that he's going to play. I mean, it's possible at least, but even if he does play, he is almost immediately playing post-surgery without any rest, which sounds crazy that they would do that to a starter. Mm-hmm. But I guess they really need that win. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I would play Herbert and chance him getting hurt like that again so quick post-surgery. Do you really think that he'll start?
I don't know. I mean, they're 8-4, so it's not like they. But well, I mean, they have to go for wild card because they got the Broncos in their division, right? So right. Yeah, they have to win. I don't know. That's a tough one. This is definitely not a game I would want to bet on.
I know. I'm not touching it later.
I don't
probably
know who's going to win this one. Either team winning and either score would honestly not shock me.
Yeah, I know. This is a game that I'm like, I don't know. As an Eagles fan, my heart is like, I want to say that we're going to win, but it's a very iffy with Herbert playing. You know, if Herbert's fully recovered and everything, I don't know that I believe in us to beat him. So truthfully, and AJ Brown was limited in practice. It's like, I don't know.
AJ Brown's been limited all year just from
and he's just not been. He's been limited even while playing. He's limited.
Yeah, I can think of both my fantasy football leagues and the guy that has them in each league and how frustrated they've been with him and Saquon. But yeah, I don't, with the Chargers, just again, like holistically, because when I was really cheering on for the Broncos all those years, I paid a lot of attention to Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, and they're kind of one of those teams too. Until they go to the Super Bowl, I just don't. They're just always one of those teams that's like pretty good. They'll win like 8 or 9 games, and then they kind of fall apart. So I just Chargers are kind of one of those. They're just like a fun team, and it's always going to be a fun game. But I just like don't take them super seriously at the end of the season.
Well, I want to talk about your Broncos then. So Broncos are at the Raiders. And I mean, obviously the Raiders stink, even though they're home. It's just been terrible. Although Pete Carroll, I feel like he's playing for his job right now. So he will be trying to win. I know you're not big on spreads as much, but I will say for those listeners that are doing it, it's 7.5 points. I am still leaning towards the Broncos winning and covering. You can probably get it at 7. I would try for 7. I've seen it a couple of places. So I always like to say, as a woman, I love to shop. So I shop for sales. So I shop for sales on points. So definitely check around. Yeah, I know. Listen, like women, we're good at that.
Cyber Monday point sale.
Yeah, well, no, actually, you probably have to like buy it on some of these ones. But yeah, no, I mean, I like the Broncos here. I think that they're on like a good steady run. It should be an easy win for them. I would be very, very shocked if the Raiders pulled out a win here. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't think. The Cowboys. I know the Cowboys beat the Raiders 3 weeks ago, but that was like right when we had just lost 3 in a row, and we smoked them pretty bad. I think the Raiders are just really, really not good this year, and the Broncos are a machine. The Broncos. I could be wrong.
Are leading the division.
I know. And it's weird. It's weird. Crazy. I feel like it's Peyton Manning and Tom Brady was seeing the Broncos and the Patriots at the top of the AFC again. But Yeah, I mean, I feel like they put up a bunch against Washington points wise, but I feel like they're, it's more defensive battles and they're not putting up a lot of points. So I don't know about the spread on that, but I don't think the Raiders have a chance.
Yeah. Well, a game that I really do want to talk to you also about, though, is the Packers. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Packers are going to be hosting the Chicago Bears, who are leading the NFC. So it's crazy to me that the Bears hold the NFC number one seed currently, and the Packers are right there behind them, So, the Bears are 9-3. And they've been winning, but it's been ugly. It's fourth quarter wins. It's scrappy, but they're getting it. So, I mean, could they pull out another win here? Right now, the Bears are getting 6.5 points. It is in Green Bay. Green Bay wants it, but like Vin Diesel said, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. And the Bears are winning by centimeters.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it. Every week, I just texted my friend the other day because we've been tracking the leadership boards and stuff, and I said to him, I was like, I don't believe the Bears are this good. Like, I don't understand why I keep seeing them at the top here, because they just keep squeaking by, kind of like the Eagles, to be honest. But they keep squeaking by. But the Bears have historically been not good for a long time. So like the Eagles have had a lot of success, and I don't buy it. Like I just feel like something's gonna give. I feel like the Packers are gonna win. I don't know. Honestly, this whole season feels weird. Like it just feels like a lot of teams are very close, and it doesn't seem like anybody's really running away with it. I could be wrong. I know Patriots and some, but
you're right. Nobody's
really running away with it. What did I say? The NFC? There's like 8 teams that have 9 wins or something like that. 6 or 7.
Probably. I mean, it's funny because in all of the divisions are pretty tight races except for like 1 or 2. And the sad part is that the Ravens, Bengals their division is so low, like at 6-6 are the top ones where everybody else is, 9 wins, and it's like a whole mess over there. But yeah, I mean, listen, like the Packers, they have a lot of injuries, but I mean, and so does every team right now. And the Bears, I think a lot of people are saying that the Packers are going to run away with this. I don't know that I'm going to put these as one of my predictions, but I really do hope that the Bears take it. We'll say this, even though the Bears beat the Eagles last week, I walked around in a Bears jacket because I thought, hey, listen, I pulled one of those moments where it was from, Schitt's Creek when he like says, it's a tax write-off. It's a write-off. So I wore my Bears jacket that I bought for a friend of mine and thought, I'll do a fun video and then I can write it off on my taxes, and it's a tax write-off. And no one cared that I was wearing a Bears jacket, like a full-on Bears starter jacket. Everyone was like, cool jacket in Philly. I'm like, what? I'm an Eagles fan. Why does this not bother you? And they're like, I don't mind the Bears. The Bears don't bother me. So I'm going to keep leveling it up. I actually just bought a Giants jacket. I'm going to see what they think about it as a Giants jacket. And then I think I'll even step it up even more and see if I have a funeral and wear a Cowboys jacket.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say, you can't wear a Cowboys jacket.
I can't even buy one. Like, I don't even want to buy it.
Yeah, I actually listened to, my friend sent me a clip of your local radio, one of your local sports radios after the
really?
Lost to the Cowboys.
How bad is it?
It was. So there's a station here in Dallas called The Ticket. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And it's awesome, sports radio. And they every day at 8:40 they do like a comedy bit, and they have this thing called the Touchdown Brothers, where they impersonate Philadelphia Eagle
players or
sports radio. Yeah. So I'm sorry, that's not the Touchdown Brothers, but yeah. So they impersonate the Philadelphia Eagle like sports radio, and it almost seemed like the parody of. You're
talking about Paulie and Tony Fusco show?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I not only did their show, but they've also been on my show. I love them.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But
they are the best.
It was fine, but it was just like it's more of like how upset they were. It was like you guys had lost the World Series or something. It was just like wow. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, no, they are hilarious. No, they definitely we're very upset.
I think it means more to Philadelphia fans to lose to the Cowboys than it does the other way around. But I also feel like the Cowboys.
Oh, it definitely does.
The Cowboys have we haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. You know what I mean? So maybe that has nothing to do with it, but I just.
But you had won them for a very long time. That is why I feel like you guys have you had a big fan base, because there was a while where you guys were running away with it. And and I feel like that was America's team, where people would come and say, I don't have a football team, I'll just be a Dallas Cowboys fan. And I think that's what Eagles fans have a problem with. It's not a lot of people that were born and raised and grew up, and it's a loyalty. I think it was a lot of people that came and said, oh, I just want to cheer for it, which is why I think maybe we hold a little bit more of a weird thing. But listen, I think if you are a fan of any team, whether it is a rival team or not, rock your colors, wear it. I always say that. Stay loyal. You know, that's the one thing Philly is we're very loyal. So be a loyal fan. Wear your blue. I do love a navy, and I do love the stars. I do have to say so. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's just not my team. But listen, exactly. Could you ever wear green for us? No, probably not. But all right. So let's go to one other game I'd like to talk to you about. I want to talk about let's see, which is a good one. I mean, I personally really want to talk about the Chiefs. I know you didn't mention it, but I just kind of want to talk about the fall of like Mahomes and what's been going on. Like, is there a way that maybe they don't make the playoffs? You know, like we keep making excuses for them, but the Texans are going to be coming to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, and the Texans have been really great. They're on a roll. You know, the Texans are 7-5. The Chiefs have a 6-6 record. This is a must-win for KC, but in the last 5 meetings, the Chiefs have won 5 in a row. So that's a pretty big number for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, so my wife went to Texas Tech, so we actually I got to watch Mahomes play in college. We went to where he played Baker Mayfield. It was like 72-67 or something, just ridiculous like that. But so I've been a Mahomes fan since before he was at the Chiefs. I mean, they went to the conference championship, 10 years in a row? I don't know. I mean, it does feel like the magic is, I don't know if it's all gone. I think Mahomes he's a magical guy, and he's not that old necessarily, but I mean, Kelsey's getting up there. I wouldn't be surprised if he retired.
Oh, he's 1,000% retiring after this year.
He's not really doing much, and they've lost a lot of their key players. Their defense is fine, not like as great because their defense won the Super Bowl at least one of the times. I think the last time, because Mahomes has kind of been dipping a little bit over the years if you look at it. So I don't know if they're going to lose to the Texans. It would not surprise me if they did not make the playoffs.
It wouldn't. Yeah,
it wouldn't. I mean, they just lost to the Cowboys. And now Cowboys offense is good. Cowboys offense is good. They
are, but you know, every game that even the Chiefs have played has been very close. You know, if they win, it's also very close to the end, and it's. Yeah, they're tough teams, but you have to beat the tough teams to win the Super Bowl. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter anymore with the scheduling. I just think that I think we're making too many excuses for them, because the amount of weapons that team has that are still healthy, that are still there, and yet they are not pulling out the wins. I don't know. I feel like they're not hungry enough. Like, they don't want it enough. I think that's maybe why I'm excited to see teams, like, even though I'm not a Patriots fan, I've been kind of liking seeing the Patriots win, because it's a young, hungry team. And, you know, kind of similar with, I love the Broncos being up there. I love the Colts being up there. I'm really becoming a Colts fan.
There, yeah.
I know. What's going up with the Colts? Like, the Colts have been great.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think there could be worse places to get drafted than New York City. But I always wonder when, you know, college kid, he's like number one, has to go to Jacksonville or something. He's like, oh, you're kidding me. But not again. Florida's great. You know what I mean? Like, some teams, like, if you get drafted to it, you're like, oh my gosh. But like Daniel Jones, I feel like that was one of those guys. It was kind of like Matthew Stafford in Detroit for a long time, where I was just like, man, if you could just get somewhere else, I feel like you could be a better quarterback, or not better, you know what I mean? I feel like you'd have more opportunities. And so it's nice to see Daniel Jones doing so well.
You just made a really great point. So just to like take that last thing you said, which is a quarterback having another chance, you know, at, say you get drafted to a team like, say, Sam Darnold, who gets drafted and he goes to the Jets and he doesn't do well there, but now he's doing amazing at the Seahawks. We're also seeing that right now with, obviously, like you just said, Daniel Jones from the Giants to the Colts. Now, I hate to rip on him, but I'm going to do it again since it was just his birthday. But Aaron Rodgers, you know, didn't he leaves and he goes to all these other teams. And I get that he's old, and so he's like Humpty Dumpty, and he keeps breaking and falling off the wall. But I think that shows that, it's not the team anymore. Maybe it is the quarterback. So going into like the Steelers right now, who, they're playing against the Ravens, which is my last game I want to talk to you about because it is a must win for both of the Ravens need this. And I honestly have toyed back and forth. A lot of people are saying that the Steelers are going to win this because it's Mike Tomlin's job on the line, and they are going to pull it out a win. And Aaron Rodgers is saying he's not worried. He's acting cocky and confident. And Lamar Jackson was limited in practice again. But I think that to me, the Ravens are going to win this. Like I can't even compare the two. But am I by myself here? Because everybody on sports networks are saying the Steelers are outright going to win this.
Really?
And I'm kind of shocked.
I agree. I was just thinking through it. I think if Lamar goes out and is healthy and does what he does, I think the Ravens win. I think that, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson right now in the twilight of their career, I don't really know what they're doing. Kind of reminds me when Shaquille O'Neal was bouncing around a new team every year. But then I feel like he was putting up more points. But yeah, I don't trust Aaron Rodgers right now. I think he makes a lot of bonehead plays, and the Steelers team overall is, again, I've said this word a lot, but I feel like they're fine. I saw a stat that George Pickens on the Cowboys now has more receiving yards than the entire receiving core for the Steelers. So I hear things like that, and because I'm not a diehard Steelers fan, I don't watch them a lot, but I just hear stuff like that. I'm like, I just think the Ravens have those teams both have such a culture of winning, but I just feel like the Ravens are still in it. And I don't know what happened with them this year, losing all those games.
It's losing Lamar is 1,000% what happened. I just feel like they lost their identity when they lost him. Like some people you can bounce back with a quarterback and they know enough, like with the backup. But I just feel like it was never on track for them. They just accepted like, okay, we're going to lose it, Yeah. But they're both these teams somehow are 6-6 in the AFC North. I do love that it's a division rival. Love a division rival. There's a lot of those this weekend, which I love. I love seeing it because anything can really happen. Like even though a team could be better and you play a division rival, it's like anything can go. But a lot of these are must wins. I will say this: Lamar being back. I did just see this one stat that I forgot I wrote down. Lamar has thrown 0 touchdown passes in 3 straight games. Really? So actually Lamar, I kind of was shocked by that stat myself, and I just looked down and went, oh, I forgot I wrote that. I kind of have been shocked by that, but the Steelers also have not won a playoff game since 2016. And they're 0-5 in the playoffs in the last since 2016, which is pretty crazy. And the Steelers have allowed 30 plus points in the last 5 games. So if anything, kind of like the over here, which is 43.5. Maybe I go over here. The Ravens are also giving 6 points to the Steelers. Still, people are liking the Steelers even money line. I just don't know that I believe in Rodgers.
I would take Baltimore.
I know. I don't know why everyone's going the other way. I thought I was crazy this morning when I saw it all over all the channels. I was like, all the sports channels. I was like, wait, what? Am I by myself here? Also, people are taking the Texans over the Chiefs, which I'm also got in my head because originally I was always thinking Chiefs minus 3.5, but now I'm like, well, CJ Stroud is really good. And then they start making me think like, wait, what? So I don't know. I did some research on that as well. And in the last 5 meetings against the Texans and the Chiefs won all 5. So it's like, I don't know. I think that says something. Like certain teams just play better against other teams. And when I do my stats, I'm not only looking how teams play home versus away, how they played each other in the past, also weather. So weather is a huge one. Like I mentioned, and Buffalo, whenever they play in Buffalo, I'm always like, oh God,
right.
The Bills have a better play on that one.
I know Buffalo's kind of, speaking of, lost their magic. But, Buffalo's obviously been very good for the last few years. But that's another team that I was like, man, imagine getting drafted to Buffalo in, 2012 12 when they're just 2 and 14, and you're like, it snows how much, and you're just like, all right, well, let's go do what we got to do up here. All that snow.
No, I mean,
all that, even Philadelphia. I think like you get drafted the Packers, you got to go play up there in the cold and stuff. Like, obviously they're making millions of dollars. I don't feel bad for them, all that, but I don't know. I still am just like that. That's kind of brutal having to play in those conditions all the time.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually asked a player once who was being drafted. I won't say what position he did, but he was drafted by the Ravens, who were obviously going to be going in at least playoff contenders. Usually they're always quite good. And I said to him, listen, you were expected to go first round, but you went second, but to a very amazing team where you have a chance at winning a playoff. Would you rather have gone to the worst team in the NFL where you know you're not going to have a great season, no chance at winning a Super Bowl or anything for years, but at least you get that first round pick, that first round recognition, and maybe the first round money, versus second round, same but great team, like respected still, but and into a great team. So what would you rather? And he said, I'd rather take that bad team first round money. And I was like, interesting. Okay. I would have thought I would have rather have played the long game there and gone for the team and take take the second, because look at Tom Brady. He went sixth round.
And Tom Brady then, he was still getting paid so much money, but he did take a pay cut so that the Patriots could take on more players, right? So that's
exactly,
and you just don't see that anymore. They were talking about that with Dak. Dak is top 5 highest paid athlete in the world when you throw in brand deals. It's
crazy.
Insane. It's like up there with Ronaldo and all those guys. But
no offense, but I don't think he should be. No offense. Like I remember when that contract was happening a few years ago, and I was like, what are you paying him for? Jerry Jones paid him for things that happened in the past. It reminded me so much of, to my mind, I always call it the Ryan Howard contract, which is a baseball player for the Phillies that we gave money to, who was at the time the strikeout king. And I always call it the Ryan Howard contract. I feel bad saying this. Sorry, Ryan Howard. But the truth is that it's like don't pay somebody for things they've done in the past. Pay them for what they could do in the future.
Yeah, I think Dak hurt himself and was out the rest of the season, like 3 weeks after that contract got signed. It just drives me nuts when and then I think Kyler Murray was around the same, and you're like, what have you done? Like, you can run around and throw the long ball, but what have you done? I don't understand that. And Dak,
they were paying him for that Hail Mary pass from many years ago. That's all anybody can remember from Kyler Murray is the Hail Mary pass.
Jerry Jones, really, but that's just like a.
Oh, tell me your thoughts on Jerry Jones before I release you.
Such a Jerry Jones move. So in college, I actually lived with some Raiders fans, which was painful sometimes. But living with Raiders fans, they filled me in on the Al Davis stuff. And if you don't know much about Al Davis, like Al Davis is the guy that took Janikowski, the kicker, in the first round. Granted, Janikowski is one of the greatest kickers of all time, but that's like not what they needed at the time. His draft picks were always really wheels off. He would get the guy with the fastest 40, but that wasn't necessarily very good. And it kind of reminds me of Jerry, to be honest. Jerry is a much better brander. The Cowboys and the Raiders are not. I'm not saying.
Janikowski was on the Eagles too, though. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't he? I'm pretty sure. No, we had a Janikowski. Or we definitely had.
What was the Raiders kicker's name?
I'm gonna have to look this up real quick. Let's see.
Sebastian Janikowski. I was right. Maybe he went to the Eagles at some point, but he was the Raiders.
We had. Let me see. I'm like, we had a Janikowski. They
drafted him 17th overall. 17th overall pick to the Raiders in 2000.
17th overall pick.
So
wait. So
pick. Yeah,
okay.
He's from Poland. He was 260-pound kicker.
Yeah. Okay, did he? Oh, no, you're right. He was only with the Raiders, and oh my God, and yes, Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. And he could kick like 70-yard, but like the point I'm trying to make.
260 pounds, but I think he's way more than that. Oh, I love that I'm getting a phone call right now as I'm looking at that.
The reason that I draw the parallels is because it's just like Jerry just makes decisions. He'll be like, we're going all in. We're going all in. And then we'll like re-sign our long snapper and like just let Micah Parsons leave. Like the Micah Parsons thing, I get we were going to have to pay him.
I was actually going to ask you.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was after the Luka stuff that went down, which is a whole separate podcast I don't want to get into. But the Micah Parsons thing, where like, the guy wanted so much money, and in terms of cap space, like,
I get it.
It's fine. Like, let Green Bay pay him that. But Jerry's just. I watched the Netflix documentary on him, by the way, which is fantastic. It's really, really good if you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet, but I will watch it.
It's about the Cowboys.
I can't bring myself. I know. I have a hard time.
Yeah, when he buys and all that stuff. But, I mean, it's just,
I love watching about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I am a cheerleaders fan.
He's our a-hole, kind of. I don't know if I can say that, but, like, he's...
you can.
Okay. Like... So, if I saw him, I don't have like hatred in my heart towards the man. But I'm just like, what are you doing, man? It's the little things. It's the not closing the blinds or closing the windows in AT&T Stadium. So I think it was like 2 years ago when we were playing, it might have been the Packers game. And, CeeDee Lamb like missed a couple first down catches because he couldn't see the ball. Because Jerry Jones won't close the blinds.
Yes.
And you see it, any afternoon game, you see it happening. And there's always like at least one drop pass, and you're like, just close the blinds. And people will bring that up to him in the press conference, and he's like, "Oh, there's nothing about them," like, and it's like he doesn't understand. He just doesn't understand stuff like that. He's got his daughter.
Will he ever sell it, or will he just pass it on? It'll just go down the family.
Jones. I mean, honestly, amongst Cowboys fans right now, the conversation is, what is Steven going to be like? And
right.
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, he could make a move and be different. Like, if anything, we shouldn't have these guys that come in that are owners, and then they also are the GMs. And I know that's said so much. Maybe that's nationally talked about a lot, but in Dallas, it's like the number one thing. We don't need him as a GM, but it's true. We don't need him as a GM. I mean, I'd heard the story and rumor that like he was physically restrained from drafting Johnny Manziel in the draft room. Just because he wanted Johnny Manziel, because Johnny Manziel would sell a lot of jerseys. And so Dallas Cowboys are the number one brand in the world. I get that. But as someone that genuinely likes sports and wants my team to win, it is very frustrating because you see the business and the bottom line get put before the actual success of the team.
Was that Steven or that was Steven who was physically restrained because he wanted to get?
It was Jerry that was physically restrained.
It was Jerry that wanted it?
That's what I heard.
Why? Wow. I'm going to have to look into this because that is wild to me. I personally know him, and he is a wild child. Sorry, I personally know Johnny Manziel, and he is a wild child. And and that's the thing. I can't even get him to sit. Every time he says he's going to do the show, he kind of like ghosts and he goes off on like a little tangent. So I mean, the fact that Jerry, I think, was just seeing, like you're right, seeing the numbers, seeing Texas A&M going to Dallas. It's a good storyline. He cares more about the storyline than he does about his team, I think, is the problem. And it's like, oh my gosh.
There's nothing you could say to me that could hurt me more than the things that we tell ourselves in the mirror here in Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, you could, like, if you just started talking smack about Cowboy stuff, be like, yeah, I know. Yep. I'm well aware of our problems. Like, that's where we've gotten. It's kind of with the Mavericks too, but that's where we've gotten with the Cowboys. But then this is what they do. They've won 3 straight. They pull you back in. I'm rooting for them again. I want them to win, and then they're going to do something to mess it up, and they're going to go to the playoffs somehow. And they're going to get some miracle play and go to the playoffs, and then they're going to lose by 40
and
points.
Then lose it.
And you're going to like,
I know. I'm sorry. But it's always, what's that famous line for us? There's always next year. It's like, ugh, I know. But, listen, I have to say, the fact that an Eagles fan and a Cowboys fan can sit here and debate, and I actually somehow now feel bad for you guys in a way that I'm like, I'm fascinated more by this story too about Jerry Jones. I mean, I knew he wanted Johnny, but I didn't know he was in the room trying to like get him that bad.
I'm sure that happened, but
I heard. No, I love it. I mean, I could just picture Jerry being like, but, and they were like, no, tape his mouth shut, like tape it, like nah, he's done, like no, just don't listen to him. But it's funny because like when managers try to get involved too much or owners trying to become managers, it is rare that it works. I think it works in for the Colts with Carly, being on the sidelines, I think she's doing a great job, but I wouldn't suggest it for many other teams.
Well,
I think like
it's, I've had so much success in oil and gas in Jerry's case. So therefore, anything I put my mind to, I will be good at automatically. And it's like, it just doesn't work like that. But like, you're just not, I mean, he's like 82 years old. Like, you're not going to convince him at this point. At this point, we're just like, please just like hand it over to Steven soon and we'll see how it goes.
He's just like the sweet grandpa that you're like, oh, stop. Like, shh. Like, don't listen to him, like you just ignore him. So, well, listen, I have to say thank you so much, Jonathan, for joining us today and for being here to help me understand from the mindset of a Dallas Cowboys fan. I feel like I see things through your eyes now, and I'm not a fan of the Navy and Stars yet, but I will say that we are so much closer to solving this rivalry,
And you know what? This was a historic day in the Cowboys-Eagles rivalry. We put aside our differences.
Yes, exactly. We put aside our differences to talk about some sports. And so do you think that the Eagles are going to beat the Chargers then?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
I love that.
But
I honestly don't know.
I think they're going to skirt by and...
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. I'm nervous. But, listen, good luck to you and the rest of your season. And thank you so much for joining me here on All In. Thank you for being all in with Ashley. And Jonathan, you've changed my mind. You've changed my mind about
Perfect.
Cowboys fans.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being there. Thank you, Jonathan Armstead, everybody. Now it's time for my Pick 6, where I give you my locks of the week. Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be hosting the Indianapolis Colts, and it is a race for first place in the AFC South. Honestly, both of these teams are 8-4, but the Jaguars hold the lead ever so slightly, and this is such an important matchup. I know that the Colts are going to be without Sauce Gardner, who's going to be out due to a injury, and the Jaguars actually are pretty healthy, but I still think I like the Colts on the road here. They're a 1.5-point favorite. I think that they're going to win, and I think they're going to cover. So I'm going to say Colts and spread them. For my second lock of the week, we are taking the Bills. The Bills are going to be hosting the Bengals, and it is going to be frigid and a little snowy in Buffalo with a high of 30 and a low of 13. So honestly, the Bills definitely having home field advantage here will be a plus for them. They will be without possibly Joey Bosa. It's looking like he's iffy. We'll know closer to the date whether or not he'll be out for that. He didn't practice on Wednesday. And the Bengals might be without T. Higgins because he's still questionable with that concussion. So I just think it's Bills all the way. 5.5 points. I think the Bills will cover and easily win by a touchdown. So I'm going to take the Bills, and I'm going to say they're going to cover. Spread them. For my third lock of the week, it should be no shock that I'm going to be taking the Denver Broncos, who are 10-2, to beat the 2-10 Raiders. So the Raiders are home, and even though the game is being played in Las Vegas, that should not save them from a whooping that I think that the Denver Broncos are going to be giving them. Honestly, the Broncos hold the number 1 seed right now in the AFC, and this should be an easy win for them. Unfortunately for Pete Carroll, who is so desperately looking to keep and hold on to this position with the Raiders, but it's an easy win for me. We need to talk about the spread. The spread is 7.5 points. It is high. I still think that the Broncos will cover it, and I'm going to say that. Spread them for my third pick. For my fourth lock of the week, the Vikings -2.5. I really like them in this matchup against the Commanders. Both of these teams are expected to possibly be getting their starting quarterbacks back, and they've both been out for a while due to injuries. J.J. McCarthy is looking a bit more like he will be starting than Jaden Daniels, who is still iffy, but both were limited and said to possibly be finally coming back. So this would be a really good matchup for both these teams. But honestly, I'm going to think like the Vikings need this a little bit more than the Commanders right now. So I think they're going to be fighting for it. Plus, it's also going to be played home for them. So I'm liking a home team here, and I think they're going to cover that 2.5 point spread. So Vikings are my fourth lock. For my fifth lock, I'm going to be taking the Seahawks, who are a 7-point favorite on the road. Honestly, they're playing the Falcons, and I just don't know with this Falcons team. They're up, they're down, they're everything. But honestly, Seahawks should win this easy and cover. Seahawks for the win. For my sixth and final lock of the week, let's do an over-under. I love talking totals. The Ravens versus Steelers game, honestly, I really thought the Ravens are going to win this, but everyone has me double guessing. So here we should talk totals. The projected total is 42.5. I just can never bet an under, and I could see both of these teams easily throwing for 20 points each. So even though Lamar Jackson hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 games, I think him and Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers does have that broken wrist. It's okay. I still like the over here. I'm not selling it very well, but guys, let's take the over for my sixth and final pick. And those are my predictions. Don't forget, like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, and I will see you all on Tuesday. I'm Ashley Haas, and I'm all in, baby.
The money keep calling my name. Dollar signs make you sing.